Pressure lubrication systems. Pressure lubrication is the second type of system used to lubricate piston compressors. It is a more technical, advanced, and usually more costly method, but it results in longer life for a compressor. Pressure lubrication is a process where an oil pump precisely distributes oil to key areas of the pump. Typically, the oil is pumped through an oil filter into the pump, where it is then recycled and reused. Using a replaceable oil filter can further improve the life of the oil. The oil is transported to the key area by use of an oil pump. Therefore, the viscosity of the oil is not as critical as with a splash tube system. Either method has been used extensively in many various pump and engine applications, and both are suitable for piston compressor applications when chasing a new piston compressor. Decide what's important for you. If upfront cost is important, a splash lubricated compressor may be the way to go. But if you are willing to invest more in a pressure lubricated piston compressor, you will be rewarded with added longevity and reliability. The pressure lubrication system is universally used in modern car engines. The pressure lubrication system has come into picture because the splash lubrication system is not suitable for automobile engines due to the absence of positive lubrication. Components of pressure lubrication system: crankcase for oil storage, oil stainer, oil pump, oil troughs, crankshaft, oil galleries, piston, camshaft, oil pressure gauge, working of pressure lubrication system. In this system, this is taken from the wet sump through the stainer of the pump and delivers it at a pressure of 200 to 400 kPa to the main oil gallery. The oil pressure is maintained. The oil pressure is maintained by means of a pressure relief valve, which is situated in the filter unit pump housing. An oil pressure regulator ensures that the oil pressure level is maintained properly. For inline engines, one main gallery is used, whereas for V engines, one or two main galleries are used. Oil filter removes all dust particles present in the oil and supplies clean oil to all the oil lines. The pressured oil flows through the oil lines and galleries so as to lubricate the moving engine parts. Oil from the main gallery flows through the holes drilled inside the crankshaft and main bearing to lubricate them. The oil spout connected with the gallery forces oil upwards to lubricate the piston and all the parts of it. From inside, oil flows through oil rings to lubricate and form a thin film around the cylinder walls. After all the parts are lubricated in first gallery, the oil will be pumped to the second gallery, which can lubricate all the parts connected with the camshaft. The sprouts connected to the gallery helps in lubricating camshaft valves and valve springs. After lubricating the engine parts, oil begins to flow downwards through a separate passage to the sump. A pressure gauge calculates the oil pressure in the system and displays it on the dial. Advantages of pressure lubrication system: due to the presence of oil galleries, the oil will be passed through them to reach all the components of the engine cylinder, and thereby there will be no wear and tear takes place among the mating parts. Advantages of pressure lubrication system: in this system also, if oil was not poured properly into the engine for every servicing, then in spite of the pressure system also the parts will wear. Splash lubrication systems. In splash lubrication system, oil is applied to the cylinders and pistons by rotating diapers on the connecting rod bearing caps. Each time they rotate, the diapers pass through an oil filled trough. After running through the oil trough, the diapers splash oil onto the cylinders and pistons to lubricate them. The oil components of splash lubrication systems are follows: crankcase, oil stainer, oil pump, oil troughs, crankshaft, scoop piston, camshaft, oil pressure gauge. Explanation for the parts of splash lubrication system: crankcase, it is used to store the oil which is passed through the oil galleries for the proper lubrication. Or oil stainer, it is used to filter the impurities present in the oil, such there should not be any blockage at any part. Oil pump, it is the major part of the lubrication system because it is used to transfer the fluid from the crankcase to all the parts of the engine.